Hi there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Live with Leila. My name is Leila Singh, and I'm an executive, career, and personal brand coach. And I work with career professionals, typically in the technology industry, where I coach them, in particular, aspiring executives in the tech industry, to overcome their limitations so that they can uncover their real potential and create new possibilities, all whilst showing up as the best version of themselves. What I actually call life leadership. I'd like to welcome each and every one of you who is watching here live today, 5 days before Christmas, or catching up on the replay. And if you are watching live, then do please say hello in the comments and let me know where you're watching from today. Also, let me know that you can hear me loud and clear because we've had some technical hitches in the last few weeks. So I'm hoping this is streaming well for all of you today and you can hear me. Also, if you're watching on replay, then do hashtag replay in the comments. And again, let me know where you're watching from. So today's live is the last one for the year, just before Christmas and the new year ahead. So I thought it would be poignant to talk about reflection. And have you asked yourself the question, why is it important to reflect on your last 12 months? In other words, why bother to reflect on the last 12 months? And often it's easy to shy away from doing that, because you might feel there's better things to do, or also if you've had some situations that haven't been great. You could have had some bad experiences, things that didn't go as you would have liked, and therefore you just want to forget about the year and move on to the next one. And I get that because we've all been there. And here's the thing, no matter what has happened this year, there will always be some good that has come out of the year, some things that have gone well. But here's the thing with that. It's very easy and it's very natural for us to focus on the things that didn't work, that didn't go well, or just went pure badly, and forget or almost like block out the things that did go well. Because that's what we're trained to do. That's what our brains are trained to do, is to focus on all of the negatives and not necessarily see the positives. So this is why I'm inviting you today to really consider taking some time to reflect on your last 12 months. And that requires slowing down and just taking stock. And it's always easy to be planning and to be doing. And I talk about this a lot. I've talked recently, a lot of people at the moment are talking about planning for the new year and what the new year is going to look like. And then taking action. And don't get me wrong, taking action is great and it's important and it's a necessity to get things done and to move forward. I'd just like to invite you to remember to slow down as well and take some time for reflection. And it's not just for the end of the year. This is something you can consider doing as you move into the new year as well, whether that's reflections on a daily basis, reflections at the end of each week, or perhaps the end of each month, or even the year like we're looking at today. And there's a lot to be said about reflection, because it's easy to do things and move on to the next thing and not slow down to look at what you've actually achieved, what you've accomplished, and what's occurred, and what your learnings are. In fact, I just come off a call this morning with a client of mine where we did this exact process in a lot more detail than what I'm going to share with you today. But it's a process that I do with all of my clients. Why? Because it enables them to realize how far they have come, how much they have accomplished. And whilst things right now might not be going as they would like, or they've had some major challenges to deal with, you don't want to be forgetting about all of the good things, of the growth that you've experienced, maybe the progress, the development in different areas of your life. So just to give you an example of this, so with my client this morning, these are some of the areas that we looked at. We looked at professional development. He is looking to study for some more professional qualifications that align with the job that he's doing, so he can advance his career even further. And so we looked at how far he had come with that process, because at the end of last year he was getting frustrated with it, but actually now he's seen how far he has moved forward and he's getting to where he wants to be. His career, your career, where is your career at this year? How have you progressed? Where is it you really want to be? And what is it you can do differently next year to enable you to accelerate that process? What about your home life? How happy are you with your home life, your environment, where you live? Maybe you feel like you need to do a declutter, some decorating, just clear out space. Perhaps you want to move house, move location. So what's going on there for you? What have you done? What haven't you done? What are you planning to do for next year? What's changed this year? What didn't you do? And it's the same with relationships. Now that's a relationship with your partner, with your friends, your family, your children, all, your professional relationships as well. So maybe looking at that and feeling like, okay, I've done really well in this area. Perhaps I've done really well with networking in my professional sphere, but I actually haven't been able to see my parents or my extended family much this year. And I'd like to do more of that. So what is it for you? Which area of your life do you feel like there needs to be more improvement, or something you could be doing better or differently? And what have you done really, really well? What are you proud of? And then let me ask you about balance. What about balance in your life? I don't like to talk about work-life balance as such, but rather just the balance, because work is a part of life. So I don't like to distinguish too much from having work over here and life and everything else over here, because work fits into life. So it's about creating the balance that you want in your life. How is that looking this year? Has it improved? Has it gotten worse? Whatever the situation, what is it you learned from that? What can you do differently next year to get it to what you want it to look like? What about your financial situation, money, your mindset around money? How is that working out for you? What's the situation there? What are you thinking you could do differently to improve that situation for next year? And these are some of the areas that I look at with my clients. So I've talked about professional development, your career, your home life, your environment, relationships, your family, creating balance in your life, looking at your financial situation, your money mindset. And in addition, we have personal growth. So things like maybe you want to improve your self-belief, your confidence, your mindset in the workplace and the way that you show up. Perhaps you want to invest more time in reading or doing some courses or getting a coach. What is it that's missing for you? What is it that you haven't done? What can you do differently next year? But also, what has gone really well this year? And it's always important to remember what has gone well too. And then your health, so your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health. How has that been for you this year? Where have you struggled? What have you not done? And what has gone well? So I'd invite you to make a list of those areas that are pertinent or that resonate with you and look at what's occurred this year. So the questions to consider are, what went well? What worked? Because if it ain't broken, don't try fixing it. Keep doing what you're doing. If something's working well, keep doing whatever it is you're doing. And then look at those areas of your life and think, well, what aspects didn't work? So if you take health, for example, it may be that the physical aspect worked really well. You exercised consistently throughout the year, and that was great. But actually, maybe your nutrition or your sleep wasn't as good as it could be. So that's something that you could tweak and look at doing differently next year, which will elevate your health even more to a better place. So what didn't work? What did you try that didn't work? Or what just didn't work and you just never even gave it a shot? And look at why that was. And then create realistic goals, actions from that. Maybe you were overdoing it. Maybe you were trying to fit in too much and it just didn't work. And then you just had to let things drop. And so then what happens is you have areas of your life where you're feeling like you're stuck, they're just not working, but there are other areas that are going great. So what is it for you? What are the aspects that went well for you? What didn't work? And the most important thing to take from all of this is the lessons. What are the lessons that you can take away from this year? What have you learned from what went well? So, for example, it may be that there was your health, your physical exercise was great. That worked really well. Why? Because you were consistent. Maybe you put time in your diary every day to do your exercise, your workout, your run, whatever it is, or you got yourself a personal trainer. Whatever it was you did, but it worked really well, you could look at that and say, okay, well, that worked well, and it's because this is what I did. So actually, what can I now do to the other areas where they're not working well so I can get the same results? Maybe if it's other areas of your health, then maybe you want to get someone to assist you with your nutrition and your eating habits or your sleeping patterns and whatever it might be. Maybe you need external help and support. Or there's a book that you can get to read, or there's YouTube videos. There's so much resources available. So what works for you? Is it audio books? Is it reading actual books in your hand? Is it listening to podcasts? Is it talking to people? What is it for you? So think about what has worked well and what was it you did that enabled it to work well? And what is it that's not working well for you? I've just seen a message there come through saying, please, can you check the sounds? I've checked that everything's working this time. So let me know. Shah, I can see that you're on. Can you let me know if you can hear me clearly? Thank you. Just pop a message in the comments. That would be great. And note there is a few seconds delay from you typing in comments and from them coming through for me to be able to see them. So when you've looked at all these areas of your life and you've understood, okay, these are things that are important to me, the questions you want to ask yourself are what went well? In other words, what worked? Then look at what didn't work and take the lessons from that. So in other words, what are you going to do differently next year? And when you've gone through this exercise, take some time to look at what insights you have gained from actually going through this process. Because that's often huge and that's often the thing we miss. But what are the insights you gained? And often it will be, I didn't realize actually how much I've accomplished or how far I have come or how much progress I have made. And why is that important to acknowledge and to recognize? Because when you do recognize that, it will propel you forward even more. Because think about it, when we feel like we're struggling and nothing's working, it's very easy to lose motivation and to fall back and maybe even start to give up. Whereas when you recognize that there are things that you've done that are working really well, where you've made progress, you've accomplished something, actually that will drive you and motivate you to want to keep going and wanting to move forward. And then from all of this, I invite you to then look at what some of the actions are that you can take in the coming year ahead. So as a consequence of the exercise we've talked about, what are the actions that you're going to set yourself for the new year? Now that might be reading more books, listening to podcasts, speaking to people, reaching out to get a mentor, talking to people in your peer group who are doing what you want to do and asking them for some guidance, for some support, for some direction, researching, getting a trainer or a coach, someone to support you in that particular area of your life. But start to identify the actions that you can take in the new year. So when you hit the new year, you hit the ground running. You've already got a plan in mind. You've got a vision of where you want to be next year. You've looked at the lessons that you've gained from what happened this year, and you're able to hit the ground running and start taking action to do what needs to happen to get you to where you want to be by this time next year, and to feel that you've progressed in even more areas of your life. So a quick recap on this. It's important to reflect on your progress. At this point, I invite you to do it for the last year. And going forward, maybe do it daily, weekly, even monthly. but slow down and stop to recognize what you are doing, what your wins are, your accomplishments, what's going well. And use this as an exercise for learning. So what are the lessons you're gaining from this? What isn't working well? What could you do differently? Why didn't it work? So when you look at something that went well, why did it go well? What was it you were doing? And what didn't work? Why didn't it work? Was it because you simply didn't put time towards that activity? Was it because you were overwhelmed, because you maybe overwhelmed yourself with putting too much pressure on yourself to do too many things or to focus on too many things? So then you struggled and you dropped the ball. Look at why you succeeded, why you struggled. And then the lessons, the biggest part of this process are the lessons. What can you do differently? Because here's the thing, the old Einstein quote, if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over, you're going to get the same results. And it is the definition of insanity. So the big takeaway from this is, what are you going to be doing differently in the new year? And what insights have you gained from this process? And as a reminder, the different areas to consider are things like health, your career, your personal growth, your professional development, your home environment, your relationships, family, creating balance in your life, money. So those are some of the core areas. And I'm sure there are more that I haven't mentioned here that are important for you. So bring those into that reflection and that review, and do like a self-assessment of where you're at. And share with me, share in the comments what your goals, what your actions are, what your learnings are from this year into next year, and what it is you want to do differently. I'd love to know. And if you feel more comfortable, do private message me. Let me know what that looks like. So before I wish you well for the holiday break, a few things I'd like to remind you of. If your career is one of the areas that you do feel you are struggling with, or that you're just feeling maybe a bit stuck, you're not progressing as you would like, you're not sure where you want to go next, maybe you're just wanting more visibility in the workplace to be, building your reputation, your personal brand, whatever that might be. If it's career related, I invite you to register for my upcoming masterclass in January. I think it's January the 11th at lunchtime. And it's an opportunity for you to start to look at what it is you can do to help to propel and to move your career forward in 2023. It's all about achieving career success in the new year. So Sharon will pop that link in the comments for you. You can go ahead and register. It is free. And it'll be a 90-minute masterclass where I'll be sharing with you the steps that you need to focus on and consider to enable you to propel yourself forward. The next thing is, if visibility and being known, building a reputation in the workplace is important for you, then if you haven't already done so, reach out and grab your copy of the Personal Brand Playbook. Again, Sharon will pop the link in the comments for that. This is something I created which identifies what I believe are the 6 core facets of personal branding and the things that you want to really develop and hone so that you can stand out and be top of mind in your career, in the workplace, even in your industry, and have people gravitating towards you being remembered for the right reasons, and being top of mind for those decision makers, the people that matter when it comes to progressing in your career. So if you haven't got that, then grab your copy of the Personal Brand Playbook today. And you can spend time over Christmas going through the brand audit that's in there and looking at the best practices that I have shared in there for you that you can implement immediately when you return to work in the new year. And finally, my YouTube channel. Head over to my YouTube channel where you will get to see all of the previous episodes of lives on a range of topics that will enable you to grow and to develop both personally and professionally. You also have access there to all of the previous podcasts, many of which are with guests, leaders in the technology industry who have generously shared their time and their stories, their challenges, how they overcame them, and their accomplishments. A lot of inspiration, a lot of great nuggets there on how to elevate your career. So do head over, subscribe to my channel and check out some of those. If you've got time over Christmas, a great opportunity to play catch up on some of this so that you can be in the best place for elevating your career, getting to where you want to be in 2023. The next live I will be doing is in 2 weeks' time. I believe it's the 3rd of January. So on the first Tuesday at the same time, 12:30 UK time. And until then, I would like to wish you the very best over the coming holiday season, a very Merry Christmas, a warm and peaceful and successful New Year. Enjoy your celebrations, enjoy spending time with your loved ones, enjoy whatever it is you are doing over the next couple of weeks. And I will see you in the new year. And if there's anything I can help you with or support you with in the meantime, do reach out to me on LinkedIn, direct message me, and we can arrange a call. Take care and have fun over the Christmas season.